There is an unspent balance, yet you said it's 100%. Do you think that adds up? When you have an unspent balance and you are still 100%, 5 billion. Direct procurement of printers, if you don't look properly, you think it's 1.184 billion. So I know you have 3 zeros after the dot. Please, those things should be corrected, and I'm not sure why the percentage utilization, you told us direct procurement of printers 100%, but there's no amount spent to date. The balance is there, but you told us it's 100% utilization, and if you look through others, no percentage. So please, we want some consistency. So those things should be corrected, and if you go back to your comparison of budget with actual, you put here unspent balance under personnel. There is a dash right there. I'm not sure if that is deliberate, because you said percentage of budget performance is 97.19. So unspent balance, please, there should be numbers allocated. Let us know. Then lastly, if you go to your overhead, you just told us your actual expenditure is actually 1.66475 to 197.27. And there is an unspent balance, yet you said it's 100%. Do you think that adds up? When you have an unspent balance and you are still 100%. So, I mean, can you note all these things down? So by the leave of the chair, maybe those things can be corrected. Or the ones I just asked the question, if you want to quickly give us some answers before we
thank you, Honorable Member.
The certified budget is as follows. We propose the total sum of 72,775,250,713 naira only, made up of capital in the sum of 63,596,742,500 naira only. Overhead, our proposed was 9,178,508,213 only, making the total sum as I've mentioned. However, the envelope that we received for capital, we received the sum of 1,570,174,051, giving us a difference of 62.2 billion. For overhead, we were given a ceiling of 1,812,847,787 naira, which leaves us with a difference of 7.3 billion. The difference of our proposal and the ceiling allocated is in the total amount of 69,392 million. Mr. Chair, and other members of this committee, the capital expenditure in the ceiling given to us is in the sum of 1,570,174,051, while our overhead is in the sum of 1,812,847,787 naira. Personnel amounts to 649,558,451.59. Chairman, this budget under us primarily focus on about 5 key areas. Number one, the proposed budget intends to address office challenge. Number two, this new proposed budget tends to address monitoring and evaluation real-time projects throughout the nation. Thirdly, the new proposed budget intends to deliver an electronic procurement system to this nation. Fourthly, this project intends to build capacity. Is intended to build capacity. What we have found is that if we don't train even your committee, if we don't engage you in continuous capacity building across all the tiers of government, we will not be able to deliver on your oversight and our own oversight as well. It is very critical that every component, every sector is given its rightful members. A lot of you here are new. Some of you have not been in this space. It is our duty as the Bureau to expose you to capacity building, to enable you oversight on the over 800 government agency. Where we can reach, you will reach. It will suffice you to know that until you know, you may not be able to know. When you go to MDAs, there are certain things you will be asking until we train you. We are the regulatory body saddled with the expert skills to give you that capacity building. And that is one of the areas that we have provided for. Then we have also provided for our staff also to be given, you can't be better than those people that we're oversighting if we don't train ourselves. So these are the key areas. And then also, we also realize that we need to also intensify our audit exercise. Chairman, it is better to prevent than to begin to prosecute. Under our watch, our strategy is to ensure we prevent misuse of funds through IT tools, real-time tools in procurement audits. As of today, I can also tell you, we've received numbers of audits, reports within 1 month that we have done, we have resumed duty, we have carried out significant procurement audits. Some of them are dated back, which means some offenses have been committed. But because it was delayed, lack of funds made us not to be able to carry out these activities real time. So we have increased significantly our vote for audit and surveillance to enable us give you real time information that will help you to ask questions. And also, we are also doing our workflow, our internal workflow. If you come to BPP, we are struggling with space with even rats and other stuff because we are sharing the same environment with them. So we want to go digital in terms of our workflow, which means even if DG is not on seat, projects can be, certification can be done anywhere in the country, not until we are manually on seat. And we also provided for an upgrade of our national database of contractors and service provider. Chairman, under 2025 budget, it will no longer be business as usual. We will be categorizing contractors, meaning contractors of equal competency must bid for projects within their funding capacity. So all MDAs have been told already, you must advertise, you must engage contractors. So this requires IT solution to be able to deliver on some of these things. These things need fund. We will not be able to do them without us having some funds. What I want to assure you, Mr. Chair, is that under our leadership, we have the capacity, we have the brain, we have the mind to transform the procurement space within the shortest possible time. Chairman, the system is feeling it already. Within our 1 month, all turnaround projects coming to us, none have stayed more than 20 days, rather than compared to what we have been seeing. So this is to give you an insight that we will do more if you empowered us financially. Today in the country, you can verify these facts. Agencies knows that this is where we are heading. And there's a collaboration between us and MDAs because of the synergy we have created in trying to ensure projects are implemented in due time. Chairman, just to lastly say, the MDAs are cooperating with us right now. The beauty of it is that they are all responding to our clarification in good time. And I think with your support, we will make this nation what it should be, as a tool for good governance. If we use procurement as a tool, as an enabler, we will reduce corruption, we will reduce poverty, we will increase employment generation, industries will come back, if only this audacity project that we have brought to you is given due consideration. I want to say thank you. Lastly,
that is being imposed on your agency as it is. And we are going to do something about that. I want to assure you that what you have seen that is before us is not the budget, it's a budget proposal. So we are going to engage with the committee in charge of appropriation to ensure that those inadequacies in terms of funding will be properly addressed. But the impression that I want to correct that you made here is when you said that you are going to train the people that are supposed to oversight you. That's not the right thing to say. Hold on, I will come back to you. You are going to withdraw it. Our assignment as the House is to oversight what you do in your office, in the executive. So you are not to train us. But I agree that the funds at your disposal by virtue of the ceiling that you were given is to support the National Assembly for training. As a committee, we have consultants that train us. It is the knowledge that we acquire through the training that we now come back to you to oversight what you do. So if you are assisting the committee, it might be in terms of funding, if you want to do that. But in terms of training, we have to train ourselves through the consultants. You can't train the body that is going to oversight you. I think that would not make sense. That is going to amount to a lecturer setting. In fact, that will amount to a conflict of interest. So I think you are going to withdraw that one. Then, lastly, let me assure you that by the time we are done, the issue of accommodation and the e-procurement process, we are going to look into it by interfacing with the appropriation committee. Thank you. I think before I yield the floor to my colleagues, let me allow them to...
You have challenged us to generate revenue. Yes. BPP has the capacity to contribute significantly to the IGR, to the GDP of this country through the innovations that we are bringing on board. It's lying there. It's just for you to wake up. And we are ready to do that. Thank you very much. That will be training you. As a son, what training do you want to give to a father when the father already knows? So I withdraw that statement. I will be coming to you to even guide me with your wisdom. So I no longer train you, but I will brief you and collaborate with you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Okay, please go ahead.
Our brother, our friend is working already, and I have no doubt in my mind. If the National Assembly come to his aid, perform better than what he's doing. So thank you.
That's a good one. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Production, I'm Honorable Engineer Dominic Ifaranjubo Kalfo, and I represent the good people of Agota Federal Constituency. I'm from Anambra State. The DG, first of all, let me commend you on your eloquence, on your passion for this job. I said thumbs up. But then, looking from where we are coming from 2024 to 2025, you can see that your budget proposal, what you are proposing is over 3,000 increase. Of course, I also want you to know that there are so many, we have over 800 agencies, competing for these scarce resources. That is one. But narrowing down to the details for the capital, I want you to throw more light on how you want to spend 1.5 billion naira on monitoring and surveillance of federal government procurement procedures and ongoing projects across its geopolitical zones. One. Secondly, they are not numbered. You budgeted 3.2 billion naira for capacity building on procurement. When you say capacity building, is it the conventional training? Are they going to be done locally or overseas? I need you to throw more light on how this humongous value is proposed for capacity building. Thank you.
DG, before you...
Cost revenue. I'm very much keen on this, and I don't know whether there is in the Establishment Act establishing your bureau, whether it is allowed for the bureau to generate revenue, one. And if it is there, then can you suggest to the committee where you want the committee to come on in terms of legislation as to how we can help you achieve that?
That was what I said earlier. And this will be the last question so that we can run.
Our guest, I remain Clement Jimbo. DG, I look at what you propose for 2025. 72 billion naira over. And the envelope given to you by the Office of the Budget, which is 3.3 billion, representing about 4.5% of what you requested for. I want to ask you, is there a protocol for you to revert back to the budget office for them to give you an idea on how they arrived at the different budget components? Let me leave it at that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Question. Then the DG will handle the rest. Number one, why the increase is because of the accommodation issue that I cried out earlier. Where they stay is nothing to write home about. It doesn't befit, the status of that agency. So that's what constitutes up to 80% of the increase. But for the other ones that you talked about, I think the DG will handle that. Then for my colleague, I think at this point, the budget has been presented before us. We can't go back to the executive for review. And like I said earlier, I said that what is before us is not the budget. It is a proposal. So we are going to engage the committee in charge of appropriation to ensure that the right thing is done. So that is where the gap is going to be mitigated. Honorable Clement, I hope you are with me.
Very well.
So that gap is going to be mitigated at that point.
Sorry, it's not a question, it's an observation.
My honorable members who have given us this wonderful guidance. Chairman, you've answered quite a number of the questions. Let me just address the one or two. With respect to M&E, monitoring and surveillance that you ask, what we'll be doing is to engage stakeholders, professional bodies, consultants. We engage them to help us because we cannot do for unbiased monitoring and evaluation. We are also separating ourselves so that the experts will engage them to carry out it nationwide. Nigeria is huge, so we'll be making use of experts. And then we also have in-house team that will also do the same so that we can compare and be sure that you are getting value for the money you are giving to us. With respect to capacity building, we're training series of people in the executive. For instance, we have permanent secretaries retreats. We hold chief executives retreats of over 800 agencies. We have parastatals. We have directors and procurement officers in the pool. So we train lawyers who handle contract agreements. They need to understand the terminology. So the court cases and all the relevant. So we are taking them in bits and pieces in order to train them. For revenue, Honorable, your point about suggestions on what we can do to increase our capacity to generate revenue, we will be coming back to the committee on that very soon. For vehicles, if we're going to really do what we are set out to do, the current vehicles in the office, if you see the quality and the kind of vehicles, then you will understand that this money is even really paltry. And how much is a Hilux today? If you divide that sum, probably it can only buy you few. The current price of Hilux in the market and so on. So this is the reason why you saw, and just my colleague reminded me, we have these vehicles since 2008. In fact, BPP has been prudent. It's one of the agencies in this country that has not been buying vehicles over and over. We have maintained the same pool of vehicles since 2008. I think we deserve a credit for being prudent in the management of government resources. That's what is called value for money. Thank you very much, Chairman. First, you must build on something. You don't build on nothing. We need to grow, but we must have a proper foundation. That is key. So when we finish laying the proper foundation, even if it's 10-story building we want to build, to accommodate new staff, we must have a proper foundation, including office. Where do you put them, even if you employ them now? Thank you very much. Also a member of the Act 2, created under the ICPC. Yeah. We have contributions on yearly. There's Anti-Corruption Day. We have so many activities that we must be part and parcel of. Nigeria must be seen to be fighting corruption. And when we don't meet up with the fight,